quilt behind me was made by who's turned out to be, quite a good friend, Beth, and she's about 80 years old, and she had peripheral, you couldn't use her hands, peripheral nerve issues. She had a history of breast cancer, and after surgery and after treatments and whatever, so she couldn't use her hands, she couldn't feel the tips of her fingers, and uh, she's a nurse and a phlebotomist, and she was taking blood, and she was, concerned she wouldn't be able to do her job anymore. And so we worked on her, and I took her on as, as a patient, and she paid like one case fee. So it'd like cover everything we need to do for the whole case. My promise was I was going to stay with her until we got the best result, until I exhausted everything that I could do for her. Well, a couple months turned into almost 2 years, and I wouldn't take another penny from her because my promise was I was going to help her until I, felt I couldn't. And she was getting improvement. She could feel her fingers again. She had coordinated movements, and she was able to sew and quilt again. So she gifted us with the owl quilt and a eagle quilt and a like a deer in the mountains quilt. So that's what she did for us.
How does it feel to impact someone's life so significantly? I know that this may not be a question that you thought that we would ask, but obviously you changed this person's life. I mean, she's able to continue on. I think he's blushing.
I think so.
Yeah, oh, I probably am. It must be the lighting in here, that's all. Um, the it's fantastic. A lot of what I do is kind of instant gratification for me. Hopefully the patients too, but a lot of times we get results pretty quickly. Not just adjusting the spine, that's part of it. But we're doing things like trigenics. That's more of a neurological treatment. That's what helped with her, with Beth's peripheral neuropathy. We returned health to her nerves by working with the nervous system, and it's just fun to see people, just their lives do change, and they're much better. And so it's fun with what I do, with everything from, optimizing hormone levels as we get older, and with use of peptides. And so there's a lot of different tools out there, that can
Very
help.
rewarding.
I was very, yeah, love what I do.
Yeah. I just had to ask that because for me, having someone go from using their hands to not being able to use their hands to regaining that use again, that touch, that feeling for what did you say? She was a phlebotomist. I mean, she has to be able to feel the vein. Like
Yeah.
I just think it's just a beautiful thing. So thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
It's the thing we love too. And you must have just passed that down to her. And I know that she gets it from her mom too. Just
Yeah.
Jessa loves helping people. It is, I think,
Mhm.
her driving force. And so that's why I love being around her too. So thank you for spreading beauty all over the place.
Why is spine health important?
Well, it's the kind of the uh, backbone of our foundation, and
No pun intended,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
you will probably hear some stupid dad jokes
We love
throughout
those.
this. But yeah, it's a foundation of what we do and how we get around and how we move, and how just the nervous system, it houses the nervous system safely, but in a way that the body can move. So yeah, it's the spine is foundational, so everything kind of runs off of that, including the nervous system.
Say Jessa and I came up and I wanted to be adjusted. She's your daughter. You're going to adjust her. I want to be
I'm
adjusted.
gonna adjust you anyway. Same deal.
So what does that look like for a new patient for you guys?
Basically, what we do an exam, and we'll do a complete, functional exam along with orthopedic tests, and kind of clump it all into one. The exam itself takes about 30 to 40 minutes, and we'll do a case history, kind of find out as much as I can about somebody and their main complaint, along with whatever background I can get. Um, but yeah, we pretty much head to toe. We just see the function, passive and active range of motion, muscle strength, and that sort of thing. Because I'm looking to see, we're kind of looking at things a little differently now. In my background's in physical therapy, so that was my degree. So what they all taught us, and they still teach this today. I don't think it's changed much. But with the exam, if you find a tight muscle, you stretch it. And if you have a weak muscle, you exercise it. But we're finding out that's not really how the body works. And it's like um, now we're looking at the body as if the brain is a giant computer. So you get input. So there's nerves that they sense, there's 9 different types of nerves, and there's, millions, probably more so, of those nerves, each type. They're constantly sending information to the brain. So we're focusing on a lot of what's called large diameter afferent nerves, so the sensory nerves. Um, they're say if you have a knee issue, those nerves are giving input to the brain. The brain processes what it gets, the input, and then it sends an output. So the output are tight muscles and weak muscles. So instead of working on the output, weak muscles and short muscles, instead of working on the output, expecting to change the output, what we're doing now is changing the input. So we're overstimulating those sensory nerves, and it doesn't hurt. We're just increasing the sensory nerve, trying to change the conversation between the injured part and the brain. And so the brain, once it gets this new information, processes it differently and gives a different response. The different responses: increased range of motion, decreased pain. It's all neurological. So that's what I look for, if to know if I can help somebody or if I can't. And that's how I determine if I, take a patient or not take
And
that
those
patient.
things happen quickly. As you're starting to talk to the brain can make those changes almost instantly, right?
Yeah, instantaneous. The nerve impulse go run is like travels at 275 miles an hour. So it at the brain almost immediately, and so the same in return. So yeah, if we can, a lot of times we'll unlock a shoulder that's been locked up. Well, one guy, he was locked up for 10 years, and we were able to unlock his shoulder in like maybe 2 minutes. And but it was just using that concept of the nervous system and how
I would
to,
like an appointment, please.
yeah.
Say, at this point, you've gotten to a place where you're not just working with the physical body manipulating the spine, you're working with the brain. I mean, that's completely different.
Yeah, it's different in our knowledge how we're looking at it now. I guess the adjustment can also stimulate some of those nerves, and we got some good results with adjusting only. But yeah, I got frustrated with that because we kept seeing the same people coming in week after week or month after month, and happy faces, but the same issue. And I felt, aren't I doing anything to help? Um, I think a lot of us feel that way. Like there's, what am I missing, or what can I do better? And so that's why we all have, our courses we have to take every year, and so we have to keep learning. So
Yeah,
that's
the continuing ed of it
yeah.
for sure. But I feel that way too. And sometimes I don't feel like I can help anymore. We're doing these things. We've done all of the things, and then what? There's a little bit of homework for the individual sometimes, I think. And maybe that homework of not eating the junk food or getting rid of some of the other things that do affect even down to our nervous system when we eat aren't things that maybe the normal, Joe Smo walking down the street with his McDonald's even thinks about, you
Right.
know, and that's a big part of our community. So trying to bring awareness to this is what it is, trying to share what we fuel ourselves with will depend like you did this corn thing a while ago. I remember you can't put diesel into my regular fueled
Oh.
vehicle, right? And you did corn fuel. I remember it's the same thing. Like you can't put the wrong fuel in and expect good
Right.
results, right?
I don't know who your audience I don't know who your audience is, but I better explain some of that, the corn thing. They're gonna think I'm even more of a hick than I really am. Uh, yeah, we made biodiesel fuel, like French fry oil, and so yeah,
Yes.
that's what you're talking. Yeah, and that's science. That's kind of fun. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the food, the thoughts,
yeah, yeah.
things that people don't even think about. How am I breathing? Oh, my breathing is affecting my health. And
Yeah, that's very true. And we're looking at health now at the cellular level, and that's kind of where I'm at now. And there's little, may sound kind of gross, but there's little bacteria that have infiltrated our cells, and we wouldn't be around without it. It's called mitochondria, and used to be looked at a like as like an organelle, another organelle in the cell, but there's bunches of them and in one little cell. And they create the energy for us as one thing that they do. They also create water, biological water for us. But anyway, if they're not healthy, no amount of adjusting or exercise or is really gonna help. So we're now looking at the level of the cell, and we get to those through fasting and through nutrition and getting rid of the junk food and breathing, getting oxygen delivered to at the cellular level. There's a lot of things to do that will affect that powerhouse of the cell and keep that healthy so everything else can be healthy as well. So if you're coming up against a roadblock, I would look deeper, explore their food choices, and kind of what are they doing for their cells. And there's some things that you can, even with lab work, that's what we do, is we'll do a full hormonal pattern, just hormones and just beyond the regular, what a doctor would do, say, on your annual physical.
I love that. And what a great segue into the Ayurvedic stuff that we're going to be doing at this retreat, because we're going to be talking about fasting. We're talking about breathing. We're talking about the quality of the food that you're putting in for your specific body. So I think that really kind of tied all right together.
Great.
Dr. Moran was wonderfully done. He didn't even know.
Like even your friend group is going to contribute to your health. And that's a big part of what we're doing here is we're building community.
We're getting good friends.
Yes. But when you surround yourself with people that are on the path, it becomes easier to get on that path yourself. It's hard to be around the old people that you've always been around, that you got sick with, and get healthy in that environment. It's not just the cellular physical environment anymore that we're talking about. It's so much bigger than that.
Oh, sure. Yep. And that's a big part of our programs as well. We're coming up with like groups on like Facebook,
really? I didn't know that.
Where people can come in and they're part of this community. And that we learned early on that getting together with like-minded people and maybe cutting out some of the people that don't share that healthy vision, because it's easier to drag someone down than it is to lift someone up. So
my latter story.
That's so true.
So there you go. So that's a big part of who you hang out with, and because you're not in this alone. You're not the only one who's made these changes, as hard as they may seem. Or you can't go past McDonald's or an ice cream store without screeching on the brakes and turning in. But you can, and especially with help of others, they're there to help you. So sense of community is really big in all kind of health.
That's our favorite part about this, I think, is the community part of it.
And that's a big part of what we're doing with the retreat too. We're taking people out of their normal environments for a weekend. It's not that much, but in that weekend, you get a taste of what it's like to eat healthy food, to move your body, to have conversations like this, to build new friendships, people that are going to support you. It's one thing to say, oh, eat better, exercise more, breathe deeper. But then you go back into your normal environment and we have a tendency to do what we've always done because that's easy for us, right?
Yeah, that law of compensation inside our yoga practice can happen inside our daily life. We lean into the easy instead of go towards the thing that is unfamiliar. And that's what we need community for. And that's why we have so many questions, and we're over here cheering you on and hoping that you can share a little bit that gets more people excited about what you're doing, but also what we're doing. And it's just, it feels so good.
Yeah, I think we're on the same path, and we just have our own areas of specialty that are pushing this along, and we're reaching the people that we're meant to reach. But I think together, this is more information, and I think that'll be awesome. So we're always looking for ways to help each other.
Thank you, Chris. This has been amazing. We just want to show people that there's more. And honestly, I love all of our practitioners in this area. We have a great collection of practitioners, but what you're doing is different. And I want people to know there are options. And so I just think that this is fantastic. And you continue to learn. You're not going to tell us how old you are and that you're retiring anytime soon, I hope. We just